Thank you guys for joining us. It's the VDoor Locksmith show. We are unlocking success in the industry one door at a time. We've got an amazing show for you today. We actually have an in-house guest today, Randy McDonald, General Manager at RigUp. So very happy to have him on the show today. As always, let us know where you're watching here from. If you throw into the comments, we've got a screen up here just in front of us. So if you guys have any questions throughout the show, if you have any comments, throw them up on the screen. We'll be sure to give you guys a shout out. This week's show is brought to you by, we don't have a sponsor. So if you would like to be able to sponsor the show, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. We'd love to be able to give Upside Down Directional a shout out, or whomever and whichever company you might be working for. With that, I'd like to be able to introduce Randy McDonald. Thanks for being on the show today, man.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. So this week we've wrapped up OTC, and I'd like to be able to start out with, Randy, did you get a chance to go out to OTC this week?
I did. Went out there, kind of walked around, looked at all the cool new gadgets, new toys that are on the market. A lot of industry stuff coming on. We had a RigUp happy hour there in Houston as well. It was actually RigUp's introduction into the offshore market. So we have created an offshore team within the industry, and led by a gentleman named Aaron Smith, who's been in the offshore, part of the business for over 15 years. And yeah, it was a great success for us. So we had a wonderful time out there.
Awesome. So I know we kind of skipped a little bit here and went straight into some of the OTC stuff, but tell me a little bit about RigUp. For anybody that's watching that doesn't know about RigUp, give Randy a chance to be able to explain a little bit of what you guys do and what are you guys offering in the industry?
Yeah, so RigUp kind of has a simple core value in mind. Empower the men and women that empower the world, right? So we focus on, consultants, 1099 consultants, whatever you want to call them, company men, field engineers, across all aspects of the board, not just drilling, not just MWD, not just directional. So, and then we offer what's called Connect. If you're a service company, you don't have necessarily meet the insurance requirements or have the capital to go and work for a larger operator, you're able to run through our global MSA. We have a $25 million GL that kind of allows you access to over 350 plus MSAs that RigUp currently has with operators, right? So,
wow, that's huge.
Yeah, so we're all about providing opportunity for the little guys up to the big guys. I mean, if someone calls up, they get a phone call that day, hey, we had a issue, we want you on the rig. Can you be here today? Well, we don't have an MSA. Okay, they pick up the phone, they call RigUp. More than likely, we probably have an MSA in place with that operator. They're able to run through us, under us. We handle the invoicing form for a small percentage, and kind of entitles everyone to be able to perform the duties needed without any kind of snafu or holdup. So.
Awesome. So run me through this example. Let's say that, because I know that this happens a lot, and I've been a part of this on with some other technology providers. Is that you'll see guys that are in the industry, they have a great idea. Doing the sales part of it is extremely difficult, as you well know, having been with a directional company in the past.
Yep.
But you get this new technology, you're trying to go out there, and you do land that right meeting, and then they say, okay, well, you guys don't have an MSA with us. We're trying to lean down the number of vendors we have.
Correct.
This would give them that opportunity to be able to go through you guys.
Yes. So we have many operators, but one in general, they're a very large operator. They run tons and tons of service companies. Anything under $200,000 runs through the RigUp MSA. It keeps them from having to keep onboarding service companies day by day,
wow.
Right?
So that operator has set it up to where you have to go through RigUp if you're billing less than.
On that one, it's 200,000. Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, it varies per operator. Some of them it's not mandatory. Some of them it's just easy for them to do, right? If they know they're only going to use you for 1 or 2 times, or if you don't quite have the requirements to meet what you need to get an MSA. You know, Jim Bob's pressure washer, for instance. He is a guy with a pressure washer on the back of his trailer, come and clean out some frac tanks, wanting to work for a big operator. They require $10 million of GL. He can't afford to have that, right? So we provide a platform for them to be able to perform the services and work for that operator.
That's an amazing,
Yes.
that's big. Okay, so one of the things we talked about previously was, you know, obviously with the way the current market's going, we've got a lot of service companies that are pulling field hands out of the field to be able to start doing kind of like remote ops and stuff.
Correct.
So obviously there's a lot of field hands that are either being output, put out of work essentially. What advice would you have to those guys? Because obviously, you know, a great place to be able to put their resumes on RigUp, but what advice would you have to them before they put the resume there?
So, you know, the market is still strong. I mean, we currently run over 600 MWD and directional hands, right, through RigUp. We provide a platform for directional companies that are currently working or have rigs running to be able to go on, search through the resumes, search through the profiles, right? The way it works is a contractor will come onto the RigUp platform, amazing platform to be able to promote yourself. In a way, it's almost a sales role of yourself, right? So, you know, in the past, it used to be, oh, I've been a directional driller for 25 years, right? I can drill all over the world. I've been an MWD hand. I can run every tool possible, you know.
Yeah.
Nowadays, due to I mean, if you look at rig count from even just January to today, I mean, we're 75 rigs down, right? I mean, if you add average of 3 MWD hands, 3 directional drillers, 4 company men, and that's 10 people per rig. That's not even counting mud engineers, fluid engineers, any of those type of guys, right? So you really need to focus on promoting yourself. I mean, if we look at a resume, or, you know, we have a company reach out to us wanting to place a directional driller, MWD hand, company man, completion superintendent, I mean, whatever it may be, you know, what's really important to these guys now is they're focused on a key region of the basins, right? So, okay.
I mean, like in case with Oxy and
100%.
Chevron and Anadarko, like the whole reason that purchase is being made is because of a specific region in the Delaware where Anadarko has all of those assets. So
right.
Why not start looking for personnel that are specific to that region and know that region?
100%. And what we're asking the contractors to do is spend a little bit more time on your resume, spend a little bit more time on your profile. Tell us, from this time to this time, I worked with XYZ directional company, right? Or XYZ operator. I was in the Delaware Basin, or I was in the Midland Basin, right? I was on rig 123 for, you know, this operator, right? My experience is mainly Northern Reeves, Lee, Eddy. You know, be detailed, because when people are looking to hire right now, they're not wanting to have to train someone on a new area, because the amount of contractors that are out there, they want someone that knows that area already, right? They want someone that knows that at, you know, 8,500 foot, I need to back off weight on bid and RPM, so I don't mess that bit up when I'm going through the brushy canyon, right? Like,
yeah,
it's important. I mean, these guys really do look at the counties you've been working in, the type of tools you've been running. I mean, if most of your work has been 6 3/4, 6 1/8 hole, you know, put that on your resume. There's a lot of operators that really want to focus on that. And DD guys, the coordinators that are hiring for this stuff, that just gives them that added value that they know that they can trust you because you've been doing this sort of work already, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of my biggest thing right now,
yeah,
to tell everyone. I mean,
and it's great that you say that, because like a lot of guys will reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, if you're not connected with myself or Randy, shoot us a little connection request. We're happy to connect with everybody on LinkedIn. So I've had a lot of guys reach out to me, and then they'll send me a resume, and and I'll see it from all varying levels. Guys that have either, dropped out of high school to guys that have even graduated, with master's degrees, and everybody's got terrible resumes. And so one of the things I've always told guys, I was like, your resume is doing one job, and that one job is to get you the interview. It's not to get you the
100%.
job, right? It's to get you an interview, and that's all you're doing. And what you're trying to do is trying to become a salesperson for yourself.
Right.
And if you can't sell and promote yourself, then you're essentially just wasting your time. Like it pays off to be able to sit there and read a sales book
100%.
just for the simple fact that you're not selling like a product, you're not going out there trying to sell bits or motors or anything. You're trying to learn how to be able to sell yourself. And so I'll tell guys on your resumes, what's really important is not to be able to put things like, I'm a great person. It's I have drilled 18,000 feet in this county. I've been on this number of wells. I've contributed to this project in this monetary amount. We did this. Be able to put hard facts in there that can separate you from somebody else and make it less of this okay, this sounds like a good person versus this person has factually done these things.
Yeah, I have guys currently that'll reach out and they actually send me the plaques of fastest bit run in this county at this ROP, right? Their name's right there on it. Longest lateral drilled, 15,205 foot, for this operator. And those type of things you need to highlight on your resumes, right? So we get hundreds of job applicants off of our platform if we post a job, right? Well, there's 60, 80 resumes within that job request, right? So what do? We go and we look through the resumes, and you're right. You need to sell yourself on that. We need something that sticks out that says, man, this guy will be perfect for this request, right?
Yeah.
If it's this company, what does he run the same type of tools? Does he know the surface gear? Does he know the logging equipment, right? So yeah, go into detail, show what tools you can run, show what logging systems you can run, directional side, show that you've worked with high torque motors in the past because people are moving that direction, There is a difference between equipment now and equipment 2 or 3 years ago, right? So people are moving in that direction, Oh, I know how to run this, new logging system that came out a year ago that not many people do. Well, if there's a company that's all that they run, Norales, for instance, we want to promote the guys that know how to use their equipment, right? Because for us, it's about saving the coordinator time, right? A coordinator doesn't have time to sit and go through 85 resumes, right?
It's not 2014 where it was just you had to have a heartbeat and you could get a job. Now it's, okay, do you know Toltec? Do you know Ben Street? Do you know Norales? Do you know, one of these, Key Drill? I don't want to leave anybody else out. Bertos Miller. There's 80 different people, so I can't just list all of them off. But, you guys know what I'm talking about. You got to be able to know these systems. You got to know the equipment 100%. To be able to go in there day one and be able to take off. Because really, there is no budget for training right now.
No, there's not, or time.
And as a directional sales guy, if you get the job, you have to be able to scale up immediately. There is no okay, hey, in a month or two we'll have all the field hands trained up to be able to go send you out to your job. You can't work that way.
That's the cool thing about our platform that we host for contractors. We have a button on there, right? Are you available? Are you not, right? So that when we get that phone call, I need someone to go to East Texas tonight to spud in at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? Okay, well, let's see who's available, right? So it's important that you keep that up to date for us so that we know, okay, he's looking, or say he says unavailable, but yet he hasn't been out on a job for a month or two, right? And he just forgot to come back on and show that he's available, right? Oh. So it's important, to provide the right information to us. If you know how to run HDS1, if you know how to run specialized tools, right? Put that on there as well, because when we get requests, we go in and we search for these things on your profile, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look, he says he knows this. Okay, we have 15 guys. Now let's call them and see who's available, who's ready. And we're able to make put this person in a position in front of the hiring coordinator, within 24 hours. That's our goal, right? Yeah. You don't have time to sit and wait around and wait on resumes or anything like that.
Cool.
On the other hand, a lot of people come to us, they have their own contractors that they want to use, right?
Yeah.
We provide the platform for their payments, right? For their billing, for tracking all sorts of certifications for them, right? The contractors that have come over are very excited about what we do. We provide a very low take rate for them, and we provide different levels of quickness of pay, right? From, standard 15-day pay to 5-day pay to overnight pay in some cases. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great little platform for contractors right now.
Wow. So it's really interesting you say this as far as, the people being centralized to a specific location, because I talked about this on the last episode with some of the remote drilling applications. Hess has like a handful of directional drillers that they have working just in the Bakken area.
Correct.
And those directional drillers have pretty much like cemented the fact that those are the experts for that area.
Yep.
Because you're drilling the same acreage over and over and over again. Do you see that same trend starting to take off with other operators to where either they start doing the remote stuff, or with the service company starting to do the remote stuff, where you have a directional driller and you say, look, for the last 3 years, I've been drilling northern Midland County, and now that's like their area of focus, and that's essentially where they would stay at. So it's like, the directional drillers already have like a niche job that they're doing, and now they're going to have like possibly a niche region.
No, I agree. I mean, we have guys as far separated between, I know the Southern Delaware, right? Like, this is what I know. This is where I'm staying. This is where, a long time ago, you had people that, directional drillers, MWD hands, they worked all over the country. They lived in this spot. Like, more and more the consistency of these guys being able to work in the same areas, like, you see them actually moving closer to where they've been working, because that's what they know. That's where they drill. That's their expertise.
I could only imagine living in Southern Delaware.
Yeah.
The Southern Delaware. Nothing
Exactly.
against anybody that's watching from that area. Nothing against that. I love the great state of Texas, but okay.
Yeah.
So let's move over to one of the other interesting things that I think you guys have started to do, and I've heard this throughout several companies, and now that I'm an entrepreneur, I'm starting to see it myself.
Yeah.
Is having to get paid on time. So this is something that's really cool that I think you guys are doing that's worth noting, is that you guys are offering specific payment terms.
We are. So, with our Connect program, ultimately the service provider will invoice RigUp. RigUp will invoice the operator that they're working for, right? For one, it has to be done that way because they're running under our MSA and set up that way. But with that being said, a big part of what we're seeing, a big problem, and that's what RigUp is all about. Bring us a problem and let us figure out how to fix it for you, right?
Yeah.
Across the board, I don't think there's any request that is too crazy for us to at least have a conversation or try to tackle, right? So in this instance, cash flow is king right now. I mean, for every company. If you don't have the cash flow, you can't continue to grow. You can't continue to do the work you have, right? So what RigUp has done is we offer, for a small percentage, a 30-day option for payment, right? We know that operator is not going to pay, 45, 60, sometimes 90 days, right? It's hard for a company, especially a smaller company, to be able to float a job. The job lasts 30 days. Then you don't even get to, you invoice, and then you have to wait another 45, 60, 90 days sometimes, right? So what RigUp does is we allow you the option.
And that's on top of the fact that, like, the job could take 30 days to do, and then 30 days after, or 90 days after that is when you plan on getting paid. So you're looking at like 120 days from the day you started the work, even though there's 2 weeks prior to that you had to also like
get the job ready,
get everything done, all 100%. Of the stuff, start well planning. So you're looking at like over 135 days on a worst case scenario before you get paid for what you had started. Correct. So for like a small company, like if you're starting up your own directional, which I don't know how somebody could do that right now, and kudos to any of the entrepreneurs out there that are doing that. But like, man, those would, I mean, having that much like capital,
Right.
just to be able to burn through, to be able to keep the business going is just,
Yes. So,
I mean, that's,
on these Connect operations, what we do is, standards 30-day pay, right? So, you're going to get paid within 30 days or in 30 days from us. For a small percentage, we'll pay you in 15. For a little bit bigger one, we'll pay you in 5 days. I mean, imagine the way you can run your business or grow your business if you know that within 5 days of submitting that invoice, you're going to have a check in your hand. The planning that you can do, the equipment you can plan to purchase, right? The staff that you can bring on. I mean, it has tremendously helped these guys who have had operators come to them and be like, look, man, we love working with you. Why don't you go do your own thing, right? And, well, a year ago, they're like, yeah, I'd love to, but I can't afford the GL. I can't afford the overhead. I can't afford to pay their hands while they're on location,
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We're here to empower the men and women, empower the world, right? So it's an option that is out there for anyone.
wow, that's great. I know from just my standpoint of having to look at it, like, I mean, even just a normal person, it's like, that you get paid on the 1st and the 15th, or the 15th and the 30th. Like, if it went to where it's like, oh yeah, well, you'll get your first paycheck in 90 days. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
what?
Oh yeah.
Like, and then the one after that, you might get it in 30 days.
But
and then the one after that might be 120.
But I need you to work for a month before you get that.
Yeah, and you got to
keep right?
you got to keep going this whole time. So yeah, I could see how that would. I mean, being at the top of a company and being a leader within the company and knowing, okay, here's what my sales guy said we sold.
Right.
I know that the money will be in the bank.
Correct.
30 days after, or being able to project out, and so when we can reinvest and we can do those things. That's that.
Sure.
So, and now that's for all companies in that would be able to work for any of the MSAs.
Correct.
That y'all have.
Yes.
Would y'all open that up to anybody who's like even selling to the directional drilling companies? Because obviously, for lack of better words, crap rolls downhill. So like,
correct.
if the operators are paying late, then the directional drilling companies are paying late. Is there opportunities for people who are selling to oil field service companies? Now, I shouldn't say just directional drilling companies, frac companies,
No,
anybody
all
else.
across the whole entire board, right?
Could there be...
The option is there, but I will say we have a very good team that does their due diligence within companies. It's a risk that we're willing to take, but we want to dig into that company that we're going to be waiting on payment for. We want to do a credit check. We want to look at their background, their payment history, stuff like that. So
you don't want to get stuck with
want
a
to
bill
secure, we want to secure ourselves, right?
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck with a bill from Vaughn Directional or something like that.
Nothing
against those guys. Hey, there were hardworking guys out in the field and in the office. Nothing against them. It's more of a management problem.
We want to make sure that we're getting, we're going to be able to recoup, right? With an invoice to the operator, there's always a field stamp on it, right? We know that we're guaranteed at least a good portion of that money no matter what, right?
Okay.
So
cool.
There's ways to take action if that's not getting paid.
Awesome. Hey, anybody out there watching, be sure to comment, let us know. I know we did get one question. I don't know if Rob is still watching. A buddy of mine that I worked with when I started my career in Australia, I was on the drilling and measurement side. He was on the wireline side. Or like I think we were the only two U.S. guys that were working in, of all places, Sale, S-A-L-E, Australia, way down there. So anyways, he asked a question earlier. What is GL? You were saying?
General liability insurance.
Or GO, or I think is what it sounded like.
Yeah, whatever. GL insurance, general liability. It's what's needed to be able to work for operator and be on location. So there's different levels of it. Smaller operators may want you to carry, $5 million. There's some operators that may want 10 or 15, right?
And that changes whether you're going to be on the rig floor or just be at rig site as well, correct?
It's an overall umbrella policy that the operator asks for.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you guys offer safety training, or is there an organization that y'all point people to? Because that's always one of the most difficult things when you first start working for an operator. Like, so you create a new technology and you're like, all right, now I want to go to the rig site and put this new drill bit whiz-bang thing down hole. They're like, oh, you need to do MSA, you need to do like this, you need to do all of these things. And it's like,
So when a
It can be so
contractor comes on
confusing.
board and we, get them hired with someone, we make sure we do background checks on them that we pay for. We make sure drug tests are done that is out of our pocket, not the contractors. We are paired with many different safety companies throughout the U.S. We operate all over the United States, not just, the Eagle Ford, not just Midland, I mean everywhere, right? And within that area, we're capable of setting up and doing what we need to do or what training they need provided through our local contractors in that area.
Cool. All right. Hey, be sure anybody that's out there watching, if you've got a question, fire it off to us. We'll start doing some awesome Q&A here to be able to answer any questions. And it doesn't have to be just about RigUp or about Gibson Reports or anything, just anything in the directional drilling space. Remember, Randy was a sales guy, and he was out there, pounding the streets and getting indoors with a lot of these operators. So if you've got any questions about that, feel free to fire off about that as well. We've got a couple of guys that have commented in here. One of them was, ask Randy who did his makeup. He looks great.
Blake, I use the same makeup artist as you do, so hopefully we get a group discount, buddy.
One of the other guys that had said in there, I think it was from GS Logs, Dallas Scott, with his remote directional drilling company. He had said something in there as far as like the service for the service companies. Now, you guys aren't going out there and promoting any of the service companies, but if a operator comes to you and says, I'm looking for, let's say, a specialty company, or I'm looking for this kind of service.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
How does that work?
So within our platform, we actually have what's called a bid manager. It's free to the operator and free to the service company, right? So we have over, I think, 2,800 service companies signed up on to this bid manager platform that we offer. The operator can go on, say, I want to do an RFP for a 10-well pad in East Texas, right? As you sign up as a service company, you select, drilling, completions, frac, production, whatever your line falls under, right?
Yep.
Midstream. I mean, we do all of it, right? So when that bid is submitted, that RFQ on our platform, it actually goes out to the people who fall under that area, and it gives them the opportunity to bid on that job. So it's not that we necessarily have a person or a certain service company that we push. It's opened up to whoever signed up on that platform, right?
Okay.
And they do have a way to go in and just select, I want it to go to this company, and that company, right? So like they can even choose who they want. They have the wellbore diagrams included in it. They have, the TVDs. They know what kind of tools they want. So yeah, it's a pretty in-depth, detailed thing. And when I was a salesperson, I used that quite a bit, just to see what upcoming work was coming up and try to get a bid on things. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right, come on, guys. Y'all can ask questions. Don't be shy. As if it's left up to me, I'm going to start asking the hard ones. So
please.
So tell me about this. Tell me about your transition of going from operations into a startup company like RigUp. Obviously, there's two different types of culture there. And the reason why I'm asking this, because obviously we're going to have a lot of guys that are looking to be able to make that jump to get out of the field or get out of operations and into something new. What advice would you have there?
So, over 15 years in the directional business, right? I mean, started in the field, coordinator, R&M manager, asset manager, vice president of operations, sales, so I've seen all pieces of the directional company, right? I know the pain points, I know what's good, I know what works, I know what doesn't. So when I had the opportunity to come up with RigUp, I went in, kind of talked to them. They were offering, telling me all the different things that they can offer. Their mentality is, okay, the oil field has been doing things the same way for the last 50 years, right?
Yeah.
We want to come in and find ways to make what we've been doing for 50 years easier, okay? So towards the beginning, I think there was, a little bit of resistance, right? Like, who would ever go online to look for a MWD or direction? Like, or a company man or a superintendent, right? Like, no one would ever think about that.
Yeah.
As time went on, it's starting to become the way to do it, right? I mean, it's starting to take over. I mean, think about 10 years ago, who would ever think that I'd be sitting here and can click a button and have a car come pick me up, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's a similar mentality. You know, there's a lot of pushback to begin with, but as things progress, as things move, you know, the mentality of the engineers, of the superintendents, of they're a lot more tech based, a lot more computer savvy, you know, and that's the way they're accustomed to being able to do things. So, yeah.
All right, so we've got a question here from Rob. And by the way, if anybody's watching this and you see Rob's post, Rob was recently laid off, and he is a stellar guy. I still do not understand any reason why the company let him go, because he is a very valuable asset, and I wish I had the money and I would bring him on in a heartbeat. So he asked a question. There are some discussion around the shift to gig economy, Uber, Lyft, etc., and the ways that affects employees who are no longer full-time, and so no longer get many of the benefits that are usually present, health insurance, 401k. How do you feel about that in regards to the oil industry? So when these guys do go contract, obviously there is, you know, they're losing out on some of those benefits.
Yes.
What do you have to say that?
I mean, you know, there's been contract, directional, and MWD hands for longer than you and me have been around, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
most of them prefer to be contracts.
the majority of them do. Yes.
Yeah.
There are many talks going around. I mean, RigUp offers a W-2 option where you can become an employee. You can have, you know, insurance taken out, participate in 401k, all that.
Wow.
A lot of it, though, is driven not by RigUp. It's driven by the service company that's hiring you, right? So the option's there. We don't see it very often, but it is there. I mean, we can provide these people those types of things. The service company chooses not to on a lot of parts. I mean,
so let me ask you this, you know, if this isn't something y'all doing, I think this would be a great idea, but if somebody comes in and they are a contract guy, and I actually saw this recently on a Facebook page post, where the guy was like, all right, I'm going through RigUp now, I'm a contractor, what's the best way to be able to set it up? Should I do LLC? Should I do S Corp? So do you guys have, like, you know, maybe an accountant or somebody who's on staff to be able to help out and advise these guys? Do y'all have somebody who can advise on insurance or setting up 401k? Or because a lot of these people, like myself, like this is my first venture into being an entrepreneur, and or not like completely my first venture into it, but the first time like this is like my whole life, this is my livelihood. Is that something that you guys would consider putting in? Is the
so
we have a
very strong legal team that helps us, you know, understand the processes and how it works. Give myself and our sales team a lot of training on how to promote that to the contractor itself. It's not something that we have in house or anything, but I mean, honestly, that may not be a bad idea at all. That's a pretty good idea.
I mean, because that's one of the things, like, you know, I would think that, like, if a guy's coming in and he's like, I've never been a contractor before, how can I, you know, make the most of this?
There was a post the other day.
Hey, for an extra, you know, $100 a month, you'll have access to this accountant, this person, and this person that can tell you, you know, right now is the best time. Because this was the comment that I made the other day on the MWD Directional Drilling Facebook group is like, you know, everybody's like, go S Corp, and I was like, well, you don't need to go S Corp until the time is right to be S Corp, and then you could switch over to be an S Corp like as late as like October in the year, and then start saying, oh, now I pay myself this salary, or you can wait till the end of the year and go, we're not taking this much profit, we're going to dump all this money back into the company. So, all right, we got another one on here from GS Logs. Actually, Dallas Scott. Change your name, man. Put your name on there so we know who you are. Okay, I was told when I get paid by RigUp on an invoice, I'd have to pay RigUp back within 30 days, but I'm not getting paid from the directional company for 90 days. So that puts me in the hole to RigUp. Maybe he already covered it. Do you flex pay terms? I'm pretty sure that's not how it works, but... Do you understand?
I don't understand. I apologize.
So I have to pay. You have to pay RigUp back within 30 days. I don't think anybody has to pay RigUp. No.
I mean, the only way you're paying RigUp is if you're running contract hands through us, right? And we go ahead and pay we pay your hands the day that payments due for the weeks that time that they worked, and then we send you an invoice that needs to be paid back in 30 days.
So maybe that's the confusion
so
there.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
If you're running your service
correct.
through RigUp and then you're billing to the operator, then that service company gets paid within 30, 15, or 5, depending.
Yeah. So
but if I'm running all of my hands through you, then yes, I need to pay you within
30 days. But guess what? If they were running straight to you, you'd have to pay them on the day that paycheck went out. So I mean, in a way, you're getting to float an extra 30 days of cash flow. So, I mean, it's actually very beneficial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. No worries. Very nice session on W2. Interesting. Yes. All right, guys. If we don't see any more questions pop up, we'll probably end up wrapping this one up. Unless there's anything else you want to ask me about, or ask the audience, or talk about.
No, I want to stress a little bit more. I mean, when you guys are filling out profiles or completing resumes, not just for RigUp, but the whole theory behind this conversation today was, how can we help these contractors get a job, right? How can we get them working? Because ultimately, that's what we're wanting to happen. Be detailed on your resume. Be detailed on your profiles. When a coordinator calls you to fill you out, don't just say, I can work all over the United States. I've been doing it for 20 years. Man, go into depth. Like, man, I just came off of a rig for XYZ operator that I was on follow me for 2 years. We were doing this kind of drilling, this kind of lateral length. I was running these tools, or be detailed on it. That's a big part that I think will help you further your job hunt.
and I would say this for a lot of the field guys out there that are watching, and I hope that a lot of field guys are watching, is that don't be afraid to go attend AAD.
I mean,
you're one of the AADE chairmen here in the Austin chapter. So AADE, I'm on the board of directors for the IADD.
PBAD and Midland. I mean,
so there's alphabet
so
soup.
Much.
There's alphabet soup galore that you can go be a part of. If you've got if you've got casing break on a Wednesday and there's an event on a Wednesday, you don't have to get dressed up to go attend these events. Just go attend them and start meeting people. And that whole idea of meeting people,
create the network.
It creates the network and allows you to be able that leverage to be able to get out of the field.
For sure.
And understanding who all's out there. Sure. So I've told so many guys, I was like, I think it's almost worthless to go to hiring events, or job fairs and stuff, because the people you end up interacting with are just like HR.
They're HR.
They're just gatekeepers and paper takers. But you go meet with people at an IADD event, or you go meet with people at Alphabet Soup galore.
It's very possible they're the hiring managers.
SPE. Yeah. I mean, those could be not even so much the hiring manager. That could be the guy that's in charge of the department that's 100%. Looking for somebody, and 100%. You sit next to him at an event and you spark up conversation. He's like, oh wow, this guy's interesting. This guy's got a great perspective on this. Mm-hmm. This guy would be an asset to our team. All of a sudden, he goes back to HR and goes, I found the guy that I want. Put him through the system. Right. Like it just.
I mean, we're doing our networking in the same way. You come to me, you say, I've been on a follow me rig in this county for this long. I go to this awesome new software called Gibson Reports, right? And I look what operators are drilling right from where he came from. As a company man, hey, look, this guy's been a company man at this operator. All their offset wells are right next to you, right? So it's awesome little software that helps us do our jobs.
I didn't know you guys were using it, though. It's great.
Yeah,
great.
There you go.
So, guys, don't be afraid to go attend any of these events, any of these professional organization events. Maybe I'll make a LinkedIn post later this week in conjunction with you guys to be able to say, hey, look, here are some of the other events that you guys can go attend. I would put a schedule together. I just don't have a time to be able to figure out all of them that are out there. Some of these
Oil Patch Calendar is a great one. It shows everything.
Okay, Oil Patch Calendar, that's the one to be able to look at. Yeah. Guys, go attend these events. And if you are a field hand or if you have been laid off, I know this, you can contact some of these organizations and say, hey, look, I can't really pay the entry fee, but I've been laid off. I'd like to be able to come attend the events, because they understand that if that event helps you get a job, that you're going to attend those events in the future and actually be more of a lifetime client than
100%.
just, one day that you can't pay for lunch. Plus, there's always more food than what gets paid for.
Yep.
You have a new question.
I can't see the new question that's on our screen, but
Okay. Do you see this scaling up outside the U.S. into other countries? Is that part of your long-term plan?
Yes, 100%. There's a lot of legal aspects that go into it that we're chasing down right now. It's getting set up in the right areas, following all the right laws. But yeah, we are dialing in the U.S. right now and making that a well-oiled machine, and that'll just set us up for success moving forward in the growth. So
awesome. Yeah, because obviously I know you're getting this a ton because now the position you're in, you're always actively looking for candidates. So you're probably getting a ton of messages of people saying interested, and they're from Azerbaijan or from India or Uzbekistan or Angola or something like that. And it's like, I bet a ton of those guys are super talented and could do the work, but it's just
rough
like
too. You look at some of these guys on paper and it's amazing, right? Like some of the things that they've done, very educated, very driven, very long work history, right? But like
in both the field and in the academic setting,
100%, right?
Or they could have been trainers at some of these large major companies, like they've worked at operators, they've worked here, they've had their own companies, they've done all these things, and now there's no more work in
I would love to place
Papua
them,
New Guinea or something.
Right. I would love to place them, but they're doing the work for this guy, and that's who needs to have the sponsorship. But unfortunately, right now, with the supply of contractors currently in the U.S., that's not really something that people are looking to do right now, right?
Well, and then like we talked about earlier, the difficulty of saying, well, you may have the greatest experience like on paper, but we need somebody who's specific to this area, right? Like I can't, like, even if you've been drilling in the Haynesville and you're a U.S. citizen, it's like, no, I need a guy who's Southern Delaware, or like I need an Eagle.
There's similarities, right? So like, okay, I have rigs in Oklahoma, but I'm willing to take someone from the Delaware because it's similar, right? Like, okay, find me some. I have work in the Bakken, so like if you can find me someone with Bakken or Eagle Ford experience, let's do it, right? Like, there's similar areas that kind of bounce off of each other, but with the pull that there is right now, more and more it's driven towards exactly where they're at. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for watching today. If you guys want to be on the show in the future and you'd like to be sitting in Randy's seat, feel free to contact me. Comment on here, send me an email, or get on GibsonReports.com and hit the Contact Us page. We would love to be able to have anybody that we can here in the future. And I will announce this. Next week, we have Terry Frith from Gordon Technologies that's going to be on the show. He is the mastermind behind Gordon Technologies and the amazing growth with that MWD company. He'll be sitting in here next week, so please be sure to tune in and have your questions ready for him. I want to thank Randy so much for being here today. It's an awesome opportunity. And if you guys got any questions or comments, feel free to keep rattling them off.
And go on to RigUp.com if you're not on there already. Fill out a profile, submit your resume. Let us help you try to find something.
And if you're an operator or a large hiring organization and you're looking to be able to reduce cost structure and or just simplify the means of getting MSA work done, get on RigUp. These guys have got an amazing stuff, and they're also looking at a lot of special projects, so that if you need to, you got a crazy idea or something, these guys got $60 million in funding a couple of months ago, so I think they've got some money to spend on crazy ideas. Give this guy a shout. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it, and as always, know your industry.